many people here just to witness the president.
So let's look at his engagement yesterday. He inspected a number of projects. We ended up at the whole municipal hospital. For some of the projects we visited, are you satisfied with the briefing we received from the contractors or the consultants for the project?
Very much so. The road projects, for instance, the contractors are above the schedule time, so they are working overtime to make sure that the project is realized. And all other projects, the U-House laboratory, for instance, is also ongoing. The project we visited in Peki is completed, ready to be handed over. So the project initiated by JDM, it's ongoing, and we can only look out for more.
Okay, thank you very much. So what I will do is I will be speaking to some of the traditional leaders. But before we go there, what message will you share with people from the Volta region who are in the diaspora, who are so much expectant, especially when it comes to developing the region?
Well, the fact is that it's only NDC that brings development to the Volta region. My encouragement to them is that they must continue to have faith in the presidency or the governance of John Dramani Mahama. Development is coming into the region, so they will notice that any time when they visit the region, they will see new things happening. Roads are being constructed, schools are being built, hospitals are being built. So there are a lot of things happening within this period.
Thank you very much. I'm so grateful. And so here we are. I can tell you in authority that the people in the region are very, very, very expectant. I will be going to the Minister for Roads and Highways. I will sit by him. We know what you have to say is on paper to be delivered to the people. But if I gave you 2 minutes, what can you share with the people of the Volta region who are so much expectant of roads and their child is in charge of that ministry?
I will say we want to be very grateful to President Mahama. Volta region is getting their fair share of President Mahama's commitment of reset on road. Indeed, a few of the projects in the region will be part of the project to be completed 1 year ahead of schedule under the leadership of President Mahama. We are getting our fair share of our road. Our roads are getting facelift. Our roads are getting reconstructed, just as is happening in other parts of.
Yeah, I won't take the rest because the people must listen to you when the president is here. When you go to Ahmed Ibrahim, you are all over. You are in charge of the biggest portfolio in terms of numbers because of the MMDAs. Tell us, the people of the Volta region are expectant. If I give you 1 minute, what would you tell them ahead of your presentation?
Excellent. Excellent mood, excellent atmosphere, excellent preparation from yesterday to today, and excellent view that we've been seeing wherever the president has been going.
I won't take the rest because you are going to speak. Now, my good friend, I want to stand with you. I will take a little out of you even before you do your presentation. The health sector is very critical. Any country that grows and is able to develop depends on healthy people, energetic, and so on. I know government has a number of policies being rolled out. Yesterday, we saw a beautiful spectacle at the whole municipal hospital. Now, tell us, ahead of your presentation, looking at the picture or the blueprint before you, are we on a good course?
Yeah, we are on a very, very good course, as you have rightly indicated. In fact, the health of the people in every country has a direct correlation with the productivity of the country. And they say the health of the people is the wealth of the people. Fortunately for me, Mr. President is a health advocate. In fact, not only in Ghana, but on the globe. He is leading the health sovereignty at the moment, and they say charity will always begin at home. And so in the history of Ghana, this is the first time we are having 3 interventions in the health sector at the same time. The introduction of the free primary health care, and then the national health insurance, and of course, we have also improved upon the national health insurance. Gone were the days where after the allocation, even releases become a problem. You hear service providers saying that if you don't pay us, we are withdrawing our services and all that. When was the last time you heard that? Now we are paying them promptly, in fact in some cases monthly. And so the national health insurance has also seen significant improvement. Then there's another one we call the Ghana Medical Trust Fund that everybody knows as Mahama case. And so you see, none is a replacement of the other. They are complementary. So the free primary health care ends at the polyclinic, Then the National Health Insurance will also take it up to the teaching hospitals. But of course, there are some diseases that are not captured under the National Health Insurance, hence the establishment of the Mahama case. And so the Mahama case is dedicated towards the funding of the non-communicable diseases such as the cancers, you understand? And so it's our journey towards the universal health coverage. And when we say the universal health coverage, we mean that irrespective of your status in society, irrespective of your geographical location, you must have access to quality health care.
I won't take much from you because you are going to do a presentation. Otherwise, I will put the cart before the horse. So I will move towards where the traditional authorities are seated, and of course after that I will move to where ordinary people of the Volta region are seated. Toby Afede will be speaking. I'm torn between speaking to him or gauging the mood among others, but since he is the overall boss here, let me take a word from his lieutenant Toby Mayoku. Okay, he's the landlord of the place, so you are the landlord. Is the overall of the region, so that's the president of the regional house of chiefs. I'm so grateful. I'm sorry for not making you out. Quicker. Now, let's speak to the issues. For now, a lot of people have high expectations, and government cannot solve all the problems, but there should be signs of indications that suggest that we may be on the right course. For you as president of the House of Chiefs, if you are speaking on behalf of your colleagues or perhaps as the head and those you work with, would you say it's beginning well? And if you had an advice for the president who will be listening anyway, what would you say?
Well, I hope I get opportunity to speak at when it comes in. But the important thing for us is that I think we are starting off on a good note. But we need more hard work from everybody, every appointee. Some of them have not been up to their task. I must be very candid, and this is reflective of the people that I'm talking about. So maybe some more effort is needed in order to galvanize people into action. But I think so far we are on the right path, and like I said, with hard work, we should be able to get.
Okay, so I'm getting the indication that the president is almost here. What the signal I have received is that his motorcade is in, and any moment from now, we should be seeing the president in the hall. But I have seen a number of people representing the region, from party executives to traditional leaders, heads of security agencies. You see students here. Of course, this is an educational institution, and so there's no wonder that many of the students are here. Some are just here to catch a glimpse of the president for the first time. Others would want to hear if his policy interventions will capture their interest as we speak. So, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is just arriving. I've seen the director of protocol. I've seen officials of the university. Of course, I can see that the general
Thank you very much. Welcome, Your Excellency. Shall we now have the national anthem? Communications. seated, please. Our revered traditional rulers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you formally on behalf of His Excellency President Dramani Mahama to this citizens' engagement, which forms an integral part of a store of the Volta Region, dubbed the Resetting Ghana Tour. We have gathered here to hear President John Dramani Mahama and members of his government render account for their stewardship so far and engage the good people of the Volta Region on issues of Volta. But before we delve into the program, let me invite Reverend Seth K. Mauto, who is the chairman of the Ecumenical Council of the Volta Region, to give us an opening prayer. Shall we welcome him with a round of applause, please?
May I humbly ask you to stand on your feet as we go to the Lord in prayer. Heavenly Father, we are grateful to you for this opportunity to be gathered in your presence. We thank you for your blessings over this country. And we thank you so much for giving us a president who cares about the people. Today, it is your divine plan that we meet together with our president and to share together what we have done so far, where we are now, and the way forward. We thank you, Father, for the traveling mercies. We thank you, Father, for all the blessings that you have poured upon this country since our president took over the helms of affairs of this country. We are grateful. Your word tells us that when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. We want to thank you that your righteousness is being exhibited through this president. We ask that the engagement this morning will bring a fruitful result. We will learn more, and new suggestions and ideas will come out. May your Holy Spirit direct every affair. May your Holy Spirit lead us in the name of Jesus Christ. At the end of the day, may we live here satisfied, rejoicing in our hearts that Ghana is on the right path in the name of Jesus Christ. To you be the glory, to you be the praise, now and forever. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you very much, Reverend Mauto, for that inspired prayer. So as I indicated, this is an interaction aimed at enabling President Mahama and his government to account to the people of the Volta Region for how they have utilized the mandate and resources that you gave them in the 2024 elections. There will be opportunity for you to ask questions at the appropriate time to elicit further explanations on what has been presented here. So to begin the presentations, I wish to invite the regional minister for the Volta Region, the Honorable James Gunu, to tell us what has been happening in the region in the last 16 months or so since President Mahama assumed office.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, distinguished ministers of state, our General Secretary, the National Security Advisor, heads of institutions, party functionaries, our gallant traditional leaders. This morning, I seize this opportunity to welcome all of you, especially His Excellency the President and his entourage, to the oxygen city of Ghana, and that is who. Your Excellency, this is the table of presentation. I'll take you through our motivation into the 2024 elections, the result, our 3-point agenda, major manifesto promises, district assemblies projects, GET fund, road projects, other project governance issues, special initiatives, government flagship programs, and then I'll conclude. However, my job has been made very simple because the sector ministers are here to do justice to many of the issues, so I'll brush over them. Your Excellency, before you go to any election, there must be 1 or 2 motivations. And the entire Volta region was motivated by your track records. So we chose experience over experiment. Number 2 was the manifesto of the NDC, which brought a lot of hope to the good people of this region. The third motivation is the fact that the Volta region gets significant development only when NDC is in office. That was a major motivation to us. So this is what we got out of the elections. We gave you 90.2% of the results. And then also 100% parliamentary seats. Mr. President, when you came to thank us, you made a very profound statement. Let's take just 1 minute to listen to what His Excellency the President said.
The Volta region has always been a beacon of support for the National Democratic Congress, my party, and indeed myself, and has been a stronghold for Ghana's democratic progress since 1992. Your immense contribution to the success of our party and my election as President of the Republic of Ghana is a testament to the strength of the bond that exists between us. We cannot talk about Ghana's progress without acknowledging the vital role that the Volta region has played in shaping the course of our history. However, we also acknowledge your challenges, years of neglect and alienation from the development of our country due to your political choices. But I stand here today to tell you that this narrative will change.
The narrative is changing. And indeed, the narrative is changing. Mr. President, so we came out with 3-point agenda for the region. You can call it the triple jump. Hop, step, and jump. The first one is peace and security for the region. And in fact, our traditional authorities and the Regional Peace Council are helping us so that we maintain peace in order that Volta region can become the best investment destination for this country. The second one is building capacity of the municipal and district assemblies in order that they can also deliver on their core mandate, including local economic development and job creation. And the last but not the least ease the collaboration between ministries, departments, and agencies so that His Excellency the President's vision for the Volta region can be achieved within record time. And we are doing very well. As a regional coordinating council, we believe that one of the best things to do in terms of coordination is to collaborate. So these are the major manifesto promises, and the sector ministers are here to do justice to that. Flower market is one. We have the sea defense project, which is ongoing. The Minister for Works and Housing, in fact, Honorable Abla, Dzifa, Gomashie, is very interested in this one. The President, so far, we have about 40% of the work done. This one, to the Honorable Minister for Transport, is here to talk about it. The big push, the linguist for the big push, Honorable Agbodza, is here. Once we have the king of the big push himself here, I will not do much. And then water issues, Japan, textile, these are all major manifesto promises for the region. Now, let me take you to the district assemblies level, what we have done so far. In fact, under His Excellency President Mahama, 80% of the district assemblies common fund is going directly to the assemblies. The Honorable Local Government Minister is here to tell you more. But we can now use the common fund to solve common problems. So the 18 district assemblies in the region have delivered 618 projects. 618 projects in total. In fact, the total is where my beautiful lady is, but I have the figures in my head. So it's 618 projects. And these are the chief compounds. We have 52 of them. We have so far completed 36. 26 is currently ongoing. Boreholes, we have drilled 180. We have 180 boreholes, and 89 have been completed. And then we also have 91 ongoing currently and other projects that we've delivered. Actually, I have been at many of these places to commission this project or do soil cutting. Now, GET Fund projects. We have a total of 371 plus GET Fund projects currently going on in the region. In fact, we have 58 senior high and senior high technical schools in this region. And Mr. President, there is no single senior high school, public senior high school, of course, that has not benefited from the GET Fund project in the region. And these are the figures. Dining hall, 24. Dormitory block, 40. 6-unit classroom block, 15. Restrooms, that is sanitation facilities or sanitary facilities, 34. We have 12-unit classroom block, 12. 18-unit classroom block, 13. Administration block, 12. Staff bungalows, 59 of them we have delivered. And as I indicated for the roads, the linguist himself is here. And then the Honorable Minister for Health is also here to talk to you about this. And then Anyako has been there without water for 22 solid years. Today, we have delivered water to Anyako, Konu, Seva, and its environs. 24-hour economic market. His Excellency the President yesterday did a soil cutting beautifully, and all the 18 districts are benefiting from the 24-hour economic market, which is going to do a lot to us. We have also trained 1,000 girls in ICT within the period, and so far 900 laptops have been provided for the 1 million coders program. Your Excellency, governance issues. Some departments are now decentralizing to the Volta region, and the National Signal Bureau is one. you came last year to commission the National Bureau block, and then the National Buffer Stock has also gotten an office. Then we have the National Pension Regulatory Authority regional office now. We also have the Health Facilities Regulatory Agency office, that is HEFRA, Ghana Investment Promotion Center, and many others have decentralized their offices to the region, which is giving a lot of employment, in addition to other infrastructure projects going on in the Volta region. Mr. President, we have also undertaken some special initiatives at the Regional Coordinating Council. One is the Water for All project. And the Water for All, we collaborated with the National Security Secretariat, NGOs and individuals, and we are drilling boreholes across the region. We have also initiated Volta Youth Development Fund to support young entrepreneurs in the region. And so far, we have about 500,000 Ghana cedis in the fund, and I've committed 10% of my salary to this fund so that we can support young entrepreneurs. I believe some of the beneficiaries are here. We have a board of trustees, and then the administrator, and the beneficiaries. Then we also have Volta Youth in Agriculture. When you came to celebrate the National Farmers Day with us, you saw them, we provided them, and then an industrial park at Adaklu, 1,500 acres of 24-hour economic industrial park, HEP, at Adaklu. In fact, Mr. President, when we met at Tema recently for the Tema Integrated Industrial Park, I whispered to you that we are also trying to replicate something in the Volta region to create jobs for our people. Mr. President, our flagship programs for the region. So far, the National Apprenticeship Program has benefited 1,758 people, including master craftsmen and apprentices in the region. And then the Jumawa has also given, benefited 332 people. That is the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program. Then Kuko Kitikiti, which is also another flagship program, Koklo Visososo. And Mr. President, this particular initiative resonates with our traditional way of alleviating poverty. So the word Koklo means cleansing of poverty. Koklo, Ko is poverty. So our forefathers, they were rearing these birds so that anytime they are in difficulties, they go to sell the birds or they eat it, then they overcome poverty. That is how come the name Koklo. Mr. President, national youth employment, under the several models they have, they've also given job to 3,379 young people in the region. Mr. President, these are some of the projects due for commissioning. And tomorrow, today, in the afternoon, you're going to commission the other one. Appreciation. Let me take the opportunity to thank your good service, Excellency the President, for the opportunity to serve the good people of this region. And then let me also thank our gallant traditional authorities for the collaboration, our MPs and appointees from the region. Thank all of you for the yeoman's job done. Akpenami miaweva onyo.
Thank you very much, Honorable James Gunu, for that crisp presentation. So for many years, the good people of the Volta region decried the state of roads in the region. And it formed a key plank of President Mahama's commitment to the people of the region during his campaigns. Since he has been in office, a number of initiatives have been rolled out to improve the road network. And indeed, only yesterday, the President was on hand to inspect some of them. But to shed further light on the extent of work that is is being done on the roads in the region. Let me welcome the Honorable Governor Kwame Agbodza, who is Minister for Roads and Highways.
Thank you, Honorable First. Togbeo, Mamao, Novinho, my colleague Ministers of State, working DCEs, all invited guests. The story of the Volta region is changing in terms of our route. Is it true? Good. Your Excellency, we have made progress with your flagship Big Push project. Your Excellency, in the past, almost every government from President Mills, anytime they are in the region or Volta region stakeholders speak, one thing comes very clear: our road network. Indeed, one of the easiest one they use is the Eastern Corridor. Your Excellency, the Eastern Corridor road project are on course and will be completed. All of the sections will be completed on schedule. Your Excellency, when we were in opposition, the previous government tried to do some interventions across the country. The Volta region's expectation was these two roads specifically, Eastern Corridor and Ho to Aflau. Unfortunately, we missed that during the budget. And our friend, the former Minister for Finance, wrote a letter to the minority then telling us that the Ho to Aflau road was going to be part of NPP's priority road project in the region. Your Excellency, not even a contractor was selected until they left power in January 2025. During the campaign, you made a solemn commitment that when elected, that will be your #1 priority road in the region. Your Excellency, you will be able to commission the full section from Ho to Aflau before the 2 years is completed. Nothing matters to people in the Volta region than these two roads particularly, and you are determined to deliver all these things ahead of schedule. Your Excellency, it's not only Volta region that is benefiting. All the trunk roads in our country you have directed under your leadership are all on course and working. Indeed, at the beginning, Your Excellency, we were apprehensive as to whether we could accomplish this, and people said we can't. Your Excellency, we are relentless in our effort to make sure that we deliver all these things on time, and I can guarantee you, Your Excellency, we are going to deliver all of them. At the moment, all the projects in Volta region are ahead of schedule except the Hokwe Ave, but we are going to work with the contractors to make sure that it's done as well. But across the country, all contractors are on site at different stages and they are working. Those who have challenges, we are helping them to deal with all of this. Your Excellency, your Big Push project is delivering more than just roads. Today, even if you were to try to go from Accra, Tema to the northern region, and even if you are a yam seller, somebody who grows yam in, let's say, Yendi, and sells at Tema, today, even the state of the current Eastern Corridor makes it easier for you to be able to bring your yam back to the market and sell. So there's already impact on that. Every time we go around, we see young people working with the contractors and everybody. Your Excellency, when this is done, it will improve health delivery in our country. It will improve the tourism potentials of Volta region, and it will also make sure that the potentials of our neighbors, the eastern section, which is Togo and everything, will be done. Your Excellency, there are other things that we are looking forward to in the region. Your Excellency, the elders have made me aware, when we finish this, they also want us to continue from the Aflau road, which is already ongoing, but from Central University all the way to Aflau, and we are working on it as you directed. Once that is done, we will take on that one also on board and make sure. Your Excellency, the other one I want to talk about is the town roads in our communities. Your Excellency, beyond the Big Push, we are making sure we are doing works with feeder roads, urban roads, and just yesterday, you directed me to make sure that the Premier University, which you founded, you and the Professor Mills founded, the UHAS, they have been trying to get the inner roads done. Your Excellency, in another life, I was part of the people who do the master plan of that university for free. We didn't take any money. And you directed yesterday, you make the directive, and I worked hard during the night. I can guarantee that as of this morning, before the end of next month, the contractor will turn up to start work on the UHAS inner road as you directed. Your Excellency, you are passionate about everything in our country. Roads, education, and everything. But something I see in you that you are very passionate about is to see the Ghanaian healthy and happy. It is for no reason that you are chosen a very hard-working colleague, Honorable Akandoh, to lead that your vision. And he's doing a fantastic job under your direction. Your Excellency, you spend the largest capital expenditure of your government since you took over is spent on roads. The largest capital expenditure of government is on roads. So contractors receive the largest portion of your capital expenditure. Your Excellency, your flagship healthcare program, the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, it is something that we should all take seriously. Your Excellency, contractors, people working at the Ministry of Road and Highways, and our staff actually seek healthcare. Your Excellency, yesterday I heard the people appealing to you, and you directed that we will be able to build a new cardio center in Volta Region. Your Excellency, I am your current road minister. I know the volume of money we pass on to the contractors for their work. And many of them do beyond just building the road. They do corporate social responsibility, schools, clinics, water and other things. But Your Excellency, to really augment this, Your Excellency, I'm going to make a general and a very passionate appeal to all our contractors. I wish, for the sake of me and President Mahama and the Health Minister, the cardio center that you promised the people of Volta Region, I wish that my contractors would step forward and say, we will contribute and build it on our own. Mr. President, it's just $15 million. Members of Parliament and Ministers of State have committed our salaries to that. Today, Mr. President, I'll commit 3 months more of my total salary to the Ghana Medical Trust Fund. I will not threaten any contractor that if you don't contribute to the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, I have no power to do anything to you. But however, the big push phase 2 is being prepared. I will just tell you quietly that I will be asking the boss of the Ghana Medical Trust Fund to furnish me with all voluntary contributions, including my own. And I will be happy to make that list available to you, Mr. President. So when we are sharing the next phase of the big push, we shall see how we share it. Your Excellency, I believe when we do this, we are not doing this for you. Why is it okay to actually buy a Gucci with written on it? But when we name something that takes care of our health, somebody said that naming the fund Mahama Care, there's something wrong with it. No, Mr. President. Actually, I am proud you made it Mahama Care because you actually care. So I am urging every road contractor, please, it is not a threat, but make a genuine commitment to the Ghana Medical Trust Fund. Thank you very much for everything.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kwame Agbodza. For a minute, you left me wondering whether I had given you the right designation as Roads Minister, giving you way into the health sector. So perhaps to build on the foundation that you laid in the health sector, let me invite the Honorable Mintah Akandoh, Minister for Health, to tell us what is happening in the health sector in the region and beyond.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, President John Dramani Mahama, my brothers, Ministers of State here in gathered, Members of Parliament, Togbeo, Mamao, we all know that the health sector is a very critical sector, and the health of the people is the wealth of the people. Since the assumption of His Excellency, the President, a lot of reforms are ongoing in the health sector. And to tell you the truth, His Excellency the President is a health advocate. He's leading the health sovereignty across the globe. At this point in the history of Ghana, there are 3 main interventions in the health sector. 1 is the free primary health care, 2 is the national health insurance, and 3 is the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, popularly known as Mahama Cares. None of these
interventions is a replacement of the other. They are complementing each other. Any country, and in fact all countries, are yearning to arrive at a destination we call universal health coverage. And what is the universal health coverage? It means that irrespective of your status in society, irrespective of your geographical location, you must have access to quality health care. And data has it that all countries who have succeeded in arriving at the universal health coverage have made deliberate effort to invest in primary health care. And so today, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is investing in the primary health care. Number one, we know that we have the national health insurance. We took the national health insurance from a coverage of 57%. Now, we are, within a matter of 1 year, we are at 66%. Even with that, what it means is that we have more than 11 to 12 million Ghanaians who are not covered by the national health insurance. And so His Excellency said, we have to introduce the free primary health care such that it will be applicable to all the 33 million Ghanaians. So, for the free primary health care, you don't need to pay any money. You don't need to show the national health insurance card. Once you are a Ghanaian, you benefit from the free primary health care. The free primary health care, as the name implies, is applicable at the primary health care facilities, the Chiefs compounds, the health centers, and the polyclinics. And as I speak to you now, His Excellency the President has directed every district to build at least 2 Chiefs compounds every year. And now we have over 400 Chiefs compounds established and built across the length and breadth of this country. So it's applicable at the Chiefs compound, it's applicable at health centers, and it's applicable at the polyclinics. We are starting the first phase. We are starting with 150 districts out of the 261 districts, of which 9 districts in the Volta region is part of the free primary health care. We have also introduced what we call container-based Chiefs compound or container-based health centers, which is strategically placed at the lorry stations and the markets. And as I speak to you now, we have completed about 5 of them in the Volta region and will be doing more. Now, where the free primary health care ends is where the national health insurance begins. But another wing of the free primary health care that is very, very important, as you all agree with me, our health sector in the past has overly been reliant on what we call sick care or treatment. But as we all know, they say prevention is always better than care. Health care is not sick care. And so the free primary health care, the Mahama care, is also an attempt to reset the health sector to have a comprehensive health care sector and not a sick care. And so there's another leg of the free primary health care, which is the preventive and the promotion aspect. And that will lead us to seeing health professionals at our homes, at our houses. You see nurses coming to take your blood pressure, your sugar level, screening you. And His Excellency the President has directed that at least every Ghanaian must be screened once a year. Now, wherever the free primary health care ends, the district hospitals, the regional hospitals, and the teaching hospitals, that is where you need the national health insurance. So the free primary health care is not a replacement of the national health insurance. And Mama, I have heard that once it is going to be free, then it is going to collapse our health facilities. No. It is free to the ordinary Ghanaian, but it is not free to government. Whatever service the service providers will give, government will pay. So it is free to you, the Ghanaian, but it is not free to government. And there's a whole financing scheme, and this year we have allocated 1.5 billion Ghana cedis to it. In the health sector, if you are rolling out such a policy, you need the equipment and the logistics that will aid the smooth implementation of such a policy. For a very long time in the history of Ghana, we have not seen retooling of our health facilities. Togbo, a health facility is the personnel, the equipment, and the infrastructure. As part of the free primary health care, we are retooling all our primary health care facilities in the country. And so about 24,000 pieces of equipment has been procured, and we are distributing across the length and breadth of this country. Although the district and the municipal hospitals are not part of the free primary health care, but they are benefiting from the retooling. In the National Health Insurance Scheme, there are some diseases that are not part of the National Health Insurance Scheme, like the non-communicable diseases, which is also killing us at an alarming rate. About 45% of our mortalities are attributable to the non-communicable diseases. So that which are not covered by the National Health Insurance, His Excellency has also established another fund we call the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, popularly known as Mahama Cares. And so that Mahama Cares is going to be dedicated towards the funding of these non-communicable diseases. I have established the linkages from free primary health care to National Health Insurance to Mahama Cares. And I'll thank my brother Agbodza for advocating and encouraging the contractors to contribute to Mahama Cares. And not only the contractors, I will also appeal to our traditional rulers and everybody, every Ghanaian, to contribute to Mahama Cares. Just recently, His Excellency commissioned the cath lab at Kolebu Teaching Hospital. As I speak to you now, very soon we will complete a cardiology center at Tamale Teaching Hospital and another one at Konfanochi Teaching Hospital. His Excellency the President has directed, as you heard from my brother Agbodza, that the next phase will be Ho and Takoradi. And that will be making sense of the medical tourism. And so there will be an establishment of cardiology center in the region. Your Excellency, another very important issue in the health sector is about recruitment. We inherited more than 100,000 health professionals who have been trained and they are at home. We inherited a situation where the former administration had recruited about 13,500 health professionals without any financial provisions. As I speak to you now, we have all of them, all the 13,500 on the payroll, and we are paying their arrears. By the end of next year, we'll finish paying all the arrears. Your Excellency has further directed that we begin recruitment of about 16,000 of health professionals. We have completed 8,000 and we will start the next 8,000 very, very soon. We have another strategy we call Ghana Labor Exchange Program, which we are facilitating to also aid the movement of some of our health professionals to also work outside this country. After all, remittances are also part of the backbone of our economy. And so far, we've been able to move about 4 batches outside this country. We now have Jamaica, we have the UK, we have the US also with us signing MOU so that we can aid the transfer or the migration of these health workers into these countries. Again, we inherited Agenda 111 without any reliable or secured funding. When His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was leaving office, yes, he left some uncompleted health facilities, but there was a reliable funding of those health facilities he left behind. Talk about the Aerojet or the NMS. Unfortunately for us, what we inherited, no secured funding, about 4.8 billion Ghana cedis have been invested in the project, but not a single one of these projects have been operationalized. His Excellency the President is saying that we should not abandon any of these projects. So what President has directed is that we have prioritized 35 of them that we are investing in, and about 2 of them are coming from the Volta region that we will invest in and then complete. Your Excellency has also directed, as part of the manifesto, we promised that we were going to build 6 regional hospitals. In the 2026 budget, a provision was made for 3. And so this year, we are beginning the construction of 3 regional hospitals, and he has further directed that in the next year's budget, we are going to see another 3 that will also commence construction. And so in the health sector, there are a lot of reforms and programs, and I am fortunate to have a president who is so much interested in the health sector, and in fact, he's my chief advocate anytime we go to cabinet. I'm most grateful for the opportunity. But since my brother has pledged 3 months of his salary to the Mahama case, I pledged 3 months in the beginning, and I also pledged 3 months again to it. And I might add that, seeing as the Roads Minister has appealed to contractors in the sector to contribute generously to the building of the center in the Volta region, the Health Minister may also be minded to appeal to the contractors in the sector, some of whom are working on the health projects he spoke about, to follow suit. Thank you very much for that commitment. The Volta region is known for its beautiful landscape, which lends itself to tourism development. President Mahama has thought it wise to select a daughter of the soil to helm the ministry that is responsible for tourism development. So I have the pleasure of inviting the Honorable Abla Dzifa Gomashie, Minister for Tourism, to account to us for what she has been doing with the resources and mandates entrusted to her. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for the opportunity. NDC, Ghana, Tokyo Katofoa, Akpa. Madevio Hapomia do, Madevio Milinia, Livu Ashiname, Akpa. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor and pleasure to be here to speak to you about tourism, culture, and creative arts in the Volta region. I see my in-laws are all gathered here. I bow, Togbi Afode, Mafia of that Sogli state. Your Excellency, we thank you for the vision that you have, particularly in the promotion of tourism, culture, and creative arts. You yourself have set yourself apart as a cultural ambassador, from wearing fugu and putting on that resplendent costume when you were sworn in at the Independence Square. I've seen the photocopies around the country, but it is good because it is promoting our fashion, and I thank you for that. As soon as I was nominated and sworn in, the first point of call was the Volta region. I called the regional minister, James Gunu, who then subsequently invited all the MMDCs to meet me here in Ho. The essence of that meeting was to empower them to identify what is unique to their various districts and municipalities. It is you who have to identify what is sellable and what we can promote. And as the technocrats in the sector are gathered in the ministry, then we are positioned to help you package this and sell. Your Excellency, recently in Cabinet, you asked that I approach my brother Kwame Agbodza, the Minister for Roads, so that all the roads leading to our tourist sites are improved upon. We've had that meeting, and it was truly fruitful, and I'm sure that by the phase 2 of his big push, we will be able to address those issues. That said, there's also sites that have not been brought to the fore. The region has huge ecotourism potential. One of the areas where we can improve upon is the Adaplu Mountain, and also, which is in the Volta region. And then Oti, we have Nikpe Todoma. What I would need listeners and viewers to pay attention to is that the ministry leads in policy direction, but it is private sector led. We need you to invest in these areas. So as we have identified that we can have, for example, paragliding in these 2 communities that I've mentioned, you will have to bring money for us to work with you and see how we can promote it. We have worked with the Voja Easter Regatta. It was in partnership with the Voja Ecotourism Initiative, and we were happy and lucky to have the Vice President join us this year during Easter to bring that to the fore. It's a new tourism product that we want to promote and celebrate in the region. Your Excellency, we want to, in developing the broader strategy for development of tourism, the southern coastal enclave of the Volta region, we want to make it a very vibrant cultural and marine tourism destination. But again, we need those who are interested in that kind of investment to approach the ministry so that we can work with you. Devli and Agumacha are one of Ghana's premier-based tourism destinations, but it has to be integrated properly. As it stands now, they are owned by the communities. They are not owned by the ministry. So we manage it somewhat by investing a little bit in how it is handled. However, we want a better collaboration with the owners of the heritage site so that the benefit doesn't remain only in one portion, but once we put in something, we both have a percentage that we share with you. Your Excellency, recently we've also created internet sites through the Ghana Tourism Development Company. And at these sites, we have identified that the products are not being sold on a platform where if you click on, for example, heritage tourism, that the areas will come up if you want to come to visit Ghana. So we have created the website, but I'm cautious to say that businesses are not responding as we expect them to. You have a product, you have a hotel, you have an eatery. If you don't put it on that site, it will be difficult for us to promote it for you. So I'm using this platform to urge businesses that are already operating in the sector to take advantage of that. Avu Lagoon, the Hejanao slave market, the Kata and Kaji and Galosota communities offer themselves as ready markets for ecotourism and beach tourism. I've seen that in the Kata area, private people have taken advantage of it and are building new resorts and hotels, which is very good. And let me applaud Kata for keeping the beaches clean. It is easier to promote a clean and healthy environment than promoting a very dirty one. We are in competition with countries like Seychelles and what have you. And if we want to be able to tap into that market, then it is important that our beaches remain clean, spotlessly clean. So I urge all MMDCs to join the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts to bring that to the fore. Davu Lagoon particularly has so much potential for those who are interested in bird watching and so on. His Excellency, you gave us opportunity to join you in the UK to also bring the Marine Drive projects to the business community. I'm happy to say that we've also been engaging the Agbodza on this particular project as well to see that he gives us his wings to fly on into China so that they can come and invest in that area for us. So we are counting on Agbodza and everyone else who has the potential or the wherewithal to bring us to the business community so that we can invest in our tourism sector. I'm happy to also let you know, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that the ministry has litigation-free land, and we are well positioned to collaborate with anyone who has the resources to want to invest in our country. We are positioned to have a PPP, a build, operate and transfer opportunity, and as I've said that the roads will be done to these facilities, it is important that you take advantage of this. If there's anyone who is really championing our cause for us, it is His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama. Only yesterday, he set up a meeting for me to meet the Minister for Finance. We had a very fruitful meeting yesterday, and I'm sure that 2027, Volta Region and Ghana as a whole will benefit from tourism, culture, and creative arts. Your Excellency, I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, David Dzifa, for that presentation. Well, there are a number of significant transport-related projects that are either on the drawing board are ongoing in the region. To shed further light on that, let me invite the Minister for Transport, the Honorable Nikpe, to tell us exactly what his ministry has been doing in the sector in the Volta region.
Thank you, Mr. Felix. Excellency President of the Republic of Ghana, our revered traditional rulers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. President Mahama's vision for the transport sector is not about name calling or splitting of that ministry, but his vision is to ensure that the transport sector performs its role of facilitating travels, of moving people and their goods, and making Ghana become a transport free of incidents and troubles. And so for that matter, Ghana has started seeing some improvements in our transport sector. Whether it is through aviation, you all would have witnessed of late how we are commissioning projects, how we are building a lot of infrastructure. Whether it is the maritime sector, you would have seen how we are improving upon travels using the maritime industry. If it is the rail sector, you would have seen how we are commissioning railways to ensure that we cut our goods and our people from one point to another, and also the road transport services. You would have seen improvement in all these sectors. We are happy to be here in the Volta region to report to the good people of the Oxygen region the activities that are that have been taking place in the transport sector for this region. President Mahama had a strategic vision of developing Ghana's third port in this country to facilitate maritime travels, maritime shipping, and also the shipping industry. We are all aware that 80% of world trade goes through the maritime sector, and Ghana is blessed having the coast by us. And so to tap into this, President Mahama in years decided to look at building Ghana's third major civilian port services. And it was identified and located here in the Volta region. That is the port of Eta. The site acquisition was done, the feasibility studies was commenced, and the executive instrument was also given for the smooth takeoff of this port. But when we lost power for 8 good years, there were not any serious activities to that port. Until we resumed power again, Excellency convened a meeting. And in that meeting, he charged us in the Ministry of Transport and the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority to ensure that we continue and complete the Keta port to serve the people of this region because of the vast volumes of trade that is within the international cycles and at the local levels. So what did we do? We decided to engage EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, for them to give us an environmental impact assessment that would tell us the viability of that project. Excellency, I am happy to announce that in April this year,
EPA gave us a permit to go ahead, and that port was a viable one and will be able to serve within the West Coast. Again, what we did again was to see to the ongoing of projects within the Keita enclave. One, we decided to continue with the office and operational block that was started. At present, the block is at 80% complete, and it is envisaged that by end of January next year, it is going to be completed and be put into use to ensure that we start with the rest of the activities of the port. Again, other activities that have been taken by this ministry are: one, to open up to the public and get the private participation in construction of this port. To that side, Excellency President Mahama is one of the best persons in selecting credible potential investors in the maritime sector. One of it is the Tema Port. You all are aware of the MPS, the Tema Port Meridian Services. It was Excellency President Mahama who identified them, and as at the time, the news was that, oh, the President has sold the port to MPS. But today, I can tell you that Tema Port is one of the best shipping ports in this sub-region, and no other port can compare. And so, per his directives, I am sure that we are going to get a potential partner who will lead us or who partner MPS in the continuation of the port of Keita and to see to its completion and its inauguration. The activities that we want to do or undertake under the port will include: one, port terminals that will receive the containers and cargoes that the shipping lines will be bringing to our port. Two, a shipyard that will also be established for the repair of ships that will be calling on that port of Keita. And three, the President has directed that in order to have a functioning port, we must work on first the road that will lead to the port, the roads within the port, and the road that will lead out of the port. And that will ensure that we ease up congestion and create a friendly movement of both cargo and people within the envisage or the port of Keita that we are planning to build. Again of interest is the whole airport, the Oxygen City Airport. President Mahama's vision was to ensure that we boost up the local tourism within the Volta region and also create the ease of transport or movement of businesses within the region. And that will create jobs, and that will make the region very open to the rest of the world in the conduct of our daily businesses. And so he set up the whole airport, built it, commissioned it. When we lost power, it never got any intervention from government for over 8 years. Upon resumption of office, he called several meetings and directed that we should ensure that we bring back the airport to life. First, some of the facilities we had in the airport were all broken down because of neglect. And I have to thank the regional minister for facilitating and supporting us in getting a transformer that is now giving us light every day and night at the whole airport. Minister, thank you so much for that support. Again, what we are trying to do per his directives are that: one, we should make the airport viable by making it an aviation academy for training pilots, technicians, engineers, and other air hostess that will be doing the services within the aviation sector. So the whole airport is designated to become an aviation academy to train pilots and also train other technicians that will be useful in the aviation industry. And I'm happy to announce that one of our potential partners is from this region, a prominent personality, and I'm sure that he's warming up as Ghana or government is also preparing GPHA to partner him to ensure that we bring to fruition. Another thing we want to do is to create an aircraft hangars. That is where other airplanes that will want some parking space, they can also come to Ho, or if you have any jet, you can bring it to Ho for safekeeping, and then you pay some fees to the airport. Again, President Mahama has directed that we should make the whole airport an MRO
to maintain, repair, and overhaul all aircraft that will be within our enclave. So any aircraft, whether you are flying to Tamale, Accra, Kumasi, or Nigeria, or Togo, anywhere, and you need services, we are positioning the whole airport to be able to provide these services so that the airport will be busy year-round. Another activity Excellency has directed is air taxi. We do not have such facilities within our sub-region, and we are creating the air taxi so that wherever you are and you need air taxi services, this airport will be able to fly to wherever you are and render these services to you for a fee. That will make the whole airport realize the dreams President Mahama had and creating it. Another area of importance to the Ministry of Transport is the Volta Lake Transport Company. Over the years, the villages or the communities along the lake have been traveling. But one of the problems is the accidents that are associated with the lake travels. Excellency President Mahama directed that, yes, it is a way to help our people to commute between community to another community. And they should do that in dignity and be safe when they are using the lake transport. So he directed that we should look at the safety aspect of using the Volta Lake. So for first time in the history, we have opened an office in Kwando Toko. That is safety office for the Volta Lake transport. And we have recruited personnel from this region, we have trained them, and they've been posted to that office, and they are giving services to our boat users and also the Agbodza ferry that is within the enclave and rendering services. Another area of importance, President directed that we should put a search and rescue vessel that will be along the road and respond to distress calls. So we have stationed a vessel at Kwando Toko to also provide those services to our people who will have trouble using the Volta Lake, such that we can respond to them and get them out of danger. Now, other services in the region. We came in at a point where all other government institutions within this region were not properly functional or were not given attention. One of them is the DVLA. We decided to retool it and to open more branches. As I speak, we have opened a branch at Vako in the Kwando district and bringing services close to the people for them to register their cars and also do other services. Very soon we'll be cutting short for the Hohoe office. That over the years, it has never seen any upgrade. And we are going to put up the Hohoe office that will also serve the people. The transport is the only way that can move your goods and other cargo from one point to another. And that is the vision of President Mahama, that you should do that in dignity and in comfort. And so the Ministry of Transport, we are forever grateful to His Excellency the President, and we are appealing to the other investors that the transport sector is both government and the private sector. We want to invite you that we have a lot of opportunities. Come join President Mahama's team that will make the transport travel friendly and safe for all of you. I thank you, and may the good Lord bless you all.
Thank you, Honorable Nikpe, for that brilliant exposition. So this morning, President Mahama was at the host stadium, which historically has been the site where the mighty Borade used to wallop the likes of Accra, Sobok, and Kumasi and Kotoko on a weekly basis. But it has fallen into a state of disrepair. And so the president was there this morning to see what can be done about it. In his company was the sports minister, sports and recreation minister, the Honorable Kofi Adams, who has recently returned from the World Cup, where he led the Black Stars to achieve a respectable performance. So I will call him to shed further light on plans for the whole sports stadium and other sporting infrastructure, as well as the performance of the Black Stars. Let us give him a round of applause.
Thank you very much. Togbeo, Mamao, Your Excellency, Felix is right when he said this morning we were at the whole sports stadium. But I doubt whether we can comfortably refer to the structure there as a stadium. I think it's just a park. But we'll talk about what it is that we want to do with that and turn it into a stadium. But every single person who have spoken here have talked about the support the ministry have enjoyed from His Excellency the President. One clear ministry that you cannot leave out, and we call him a Jumawura because he understands virtually every sector. And so every minister who will speak here will say he is interested in his sector. But when he promised to minimize the size of the ministries, but there used to be a ministry called Youth and Sports. He saw the importance and the new direction of sports. He didn't keep it as Youth and Sports. He decoupled it, and out of that created two ministries, one focusing on sports and recreation and another focusing on youth development. It shows that this is a leader that was prepared before assuming office. And in such a short time, he has been able to diagnose the problems that confront the sports and has directed the appointees as to how to prescribe the right medications to solving that problem. Sports generally have gone so low because we have failed to invest right in school sports. So the first thing he directed, that we cannot grow our sports when the foundation is weak, and the foundation is found at the school level. So children right from the primary level must have opportunity to be introduced into sports. And so what did he do? He says right away, sports at school level should not be based on availability of time or presence of some money or not. It must be deliberate. It must be part of the curriculum. So let's have school sports coordinators appointed so that you no longer will have to wait. When GES look at their calendar and they don't have time, sports is sacrificed. When they don't have money, sports is sacrificed. Now we have a coordinator and a deputy responsible for that. And that is why these days you can see that school sports is getting back its oxygen gradually. And it's not going to end there. Our 2026 budget, this is putting action to words. Our 2026 budget saw an elevation of our goods and services allocation. This is to enable us procure equipment for various schools. So very soon, your schools and students who go to school and don't even know what shot put is, what discus is, what javelin is, they will begin to see all these things in their schools, and they will have opportunity to use them and practice with it. This, we also didn't end there by just looking at the budgetary allocations. Within just a year, we were able to establish what many have struggled to do and have not been successful. A sports fund has been established, and Parliament passed Act 1159 to cater for sports fund to develop sports. Aside that, His Excellency have directed the Minister for Justice and Attorney General to look at some other areas, including the lotteries and the gaming commission, so that funds that accrue from there, a percentage of it, would also go solely to support what? Sports. So we have seen all this happening in the sports sector. Another area of concern, the health minister talked about non-communicable diseases, and 45% of deaths has been related to non-communicable diseases. This is because we are not very active most times. So when we are active, we'll be able to reduce some of these non-communicable diseases. And so that is why recreation has also been made a key center of sports development. So you would not only be practicing sports for the competitive nature of it, but you are encouraged to do it even as a leisure for recreation purposes, which will help you burn some of the fats, which will help you at least increase the levels of what? Oxygen in your systems. And that will directly reduce some of these non-communicable diseases that we suffer. So His Excellency truly understands what it is that we must do as appointees. And so if you are going before him, when he calls you, you have to be careful. You have to look for all the encyclopedias in your sectors to prepare yourself, because he understands it even better than you yourself. That is how we have handled this sector. Volta Region, as I said, what we saw today, we can't call it a stadium. But it is located at a strategic location. The location is right, it's appropriate, it's in the center of town. And so the intention is to redesign it, remodel it, come back, meet the chiefs, the youth, and everybody to have a conversation around it and see what we are going to add to bring it to fruition. So once we complete that stadium, the airport that His Excellency built, now people who will want to come and utilize the stadium will also find use for the airport. So the airport will become active because teams will use it, spectators will use it, fans will use it, business persons who want to come and have meetings around there will use it. So it's going to be deliberate. We are, again, also going to work on all parks. We call it Sakura parks are being eliminated gradually. Ghana and Volta region has a good weather that you can grow natural grass. So we are shying away basically from these astroturfs, some of which are not done well, and they are done with hard foundation that creates ACL injuries to our players in future careers. So we want to make sure that we grass most of our pitches and provide solar lighting to them. Then have boreholes. So during the dry season, these pitches can be what? Watered, and they will become the center of attraction for communities. These are many interventions that we are having in the sports sector, and Volta region, of course, will not be left out of all these arrangements. Thank you so much, and God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I noted that he did not comment on our respectable performance at the World Cup, but that perhaps will be left for another day. I have the pleasure of inviting the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, the Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim, who is also the MP for the good people of Banda, to shed light on happenings in the local government sector.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Royal Majesty, Togwe Teprehudu the Fourth, President of the Volta Regional House of Chiefs, with your team. Your Excellency, with your permission, I may single out His Royal Majesty Togwe Afede. I was in the leadership of Parliament for a unique role you played in saving NIB Bank, which has now become one of the most resilient banks in the country. When heroes are made, they must be recognized, and that's why I've done that. His Royal Majesty, the traditional rulers of the Volta Regional House of Chiefs, my mothers, the Queen Mothers, colleagues, ministers of state, senior government officials, my political mother, Honorable Juliana Azuma, the one who trained me when I entered level 100 in Parliament. My distinguished MMDC is present. My brothers and sisters, let me say a very good morning and give me permission to join my colleagues and recognize the already established protocol, because I may not be able to recognize everybody. But for the sake of Togbe Tepreudu and Togbe Afede, I had to do some protocol, and that's why I did it. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, you are here as a leader who accounts. And one thing kept on ringing in my ear: posterity will judge me. When you said this in 2016, Ghanaians did not understand. You refused to lie. You were honest, consistent, focused, and determined. Thank God, with the effort of our distinguished brothers from the Volta region, and I will call Volta region the pride of the party. When men had to stand up and face the powers to make sure that we restore the fortunes of this country, we saw the men from the Volta region. And I could see the golden sea, the cheese Christ sitting facing me. I know what my boss, Kwame Agbodza, did. That we are focused on power, and we must get power. Now we have power. And when I entered here yesterday, Volta region is back to its former glory. And that reminds me when I was not in parliament, how I was seeing Kendraza, Kofi, and the likes. Now we are here. Togbe Tepreudu. The essence of today is accountability. And I'll start from your outfit. We have 400 chiefs, 400 paramount chiefs in Ghana. 100 of them are from Volta region. And that is one third of the paramount chiefs and paramount queen mothers are from Volta region. And for 8 years, the queens and kings, the queen traditional ruler salaries were not increased. On the ascension of power by His Excellency the President, he increased it by 300%. And Your Excellency, I hereby say that you did not just increase it, you increased and paid for 2025. Last week, you paid for the first quarter 2026. And the Deputy Minister for Finance called me that the Minister for Finance says we should bring the records for the second quarter 2026 and to be paid. Your Excellency, not only that, you increase the amount for the judicial committees in the House by 67%, and that one too, you paid it. Not only that, Your Excellency, when you mentioned that you were going to pay assembly members, Ghanaians were doubting. How will he do it? I was in parliament. We were all scared. In fact, it came to a point at the peak of the election that we did not actually know what we were going for. If we win, we are in IMF. We cannot borrow. And even in 2017, we were here when this government came. If we didn't give him $3 billion Eurobond, Ghana could not be governed. And here we don't have the assets. How would the president govern? But because he gave us hope, we followed you and we had the power. But for the 18 years that I have been in parliament, this is the first 18 months that parliament has not considered any loan in parliament. Any loan in parliament. But Your Excellency, it came to a point every member of parliament wanted to belong to the finance committee. Because in a day they could consider 5 loans. 5 loans in a day. Just approving loans. But for 18 months, no single loan. But you have increased chief salary, you have increased Queen Mother's one, you have paid for the first time assembly members since 1986 or 88 have not been paid. When you promised that you were going to give them allowance, we asked, are we going to borrow? Where are we going to get the money? Your Excellency, I hereby announce His Royal Majesty that all the assembly members, 9,090, 6,272 elected, 2,813 appointed, all of them combined, 9,090 have been paid from April 2025 to December. As I speak to you,
The one for last quarter was also released this month. And the finance minister said we should bring the second quarter. He has money. He's ready to pay it. So, honorable assembly members, you are going to be paid. Your Excellency, we are in the Volta region. And having been in parliament for a long time, and having followed Ghana politics for a long time, one thing strikes me. From 2017 to 2024, all the districts in Volta region, the amount of this Assembly Common Fund given to them was 338 million Ghana cedis. All of them from 2017 to 2024. First quarter 2017 to last quarter 2024 in 8 years. Your Excellency, I hereby tell you that for 2025 alone, the 18 assemblies in Volta region were given 282 million Ghana cedis. 1 year. Just 1 year. 1 year is almost equal to the 8 years in the Volta region. And therefore, when the Volta regional minister, who is the dean of all the regional ministers in the country, and you could see it from his performance and presentation, we've all been going for monitoring. The presentation you have seen, he is the dean. He's been a former DC before, a regional secretary, and you could see from his output. Honorable Gunu, may God bless you. Your Excellency, all the things that he's mentioning here, those days, if in 8 years, and the first quarter and the second quarter common fund has also been released by the Minister for Finance, and is with the administrator for common fund yet to come. It doesn't include the 282 million for 2025. That is almost half of the 282 million. So about 140 million for the 2 quarters has also been released and is coming. So almost all the MMDAs are up and doing, they are doing something. And that is why the regional minister was able to enumerate about 618 projects. Not only 618, there were many that he didn't mention. He didn't touch on the furniture. He didn't touch on the boreholes. When the projects are so many, you can't mention all. Your Excellency, not only that, Volta region is a home of leaders, like I said yesterday. When we assess all the MMDAs in 2024, Volta region had 18 assemblies. 13 of them passed. Only 5 failed. If you go to my region, only 5 passed. 7 failed. If you go to some places, only 1 passed. But Volta region, 13 passed. And because of that, aside the 282 million given in 2025, His Excellency is giving additional money, at least 5 to 9 million in each of the 13 assemblies that passed, to be used for development. Your Excellency, not only that, if you look at the architecture of the whole country, you cannot count about more than 20 markets that have been well built. Our mothers and sisters have been trading under wooden structures in this day and time. His Excellency, when he was in the seat for the first time, he started Kumasi Kajetia phase 1, phase 2, and started Kotokraba in Cape Coast, and started Home Market, Aswansi Market. Then they said he should lie. He refused to lie. He said posterity will judge me. We went and we are back. After coming back, he's building 261 markets in all the Metropolitan, Municipal, and district assemblies. Your Excellency, we have 18 of them. 18 of them in Volta region. But the good thing is that the 18 that are being built does not include the Aflao market. Apart from the 18 market, His Excellency, because of the architecture that he has traveled all the length and breadth of the entire earth. So he knows what is good. He is building 14 additional markets. That is aside the 261. And the 14 additional markets, one of them is the Aflao market. And the money being spent on the Aflao market alone can build 10, at least 10 or 12 of the 261 markets. So Volta region, you are blessed. This is the golden time or the glorious time to be proud and say that I'm a son of the soil from Volta Region. His Excellency. But Togbe, I could see my brother is here. In 2022, from 2021, I remember November 2021, we were in the University for Professional Studies led by the Honorable Atufosi. Ghanaians were praying that 2024 was in 2021. We were praying that it was election day. But the 8 years was so long for us because the governance was not going on well. But now as I speak, Ghanaians wish today was serving for 8th January. Because of the good governance that we are seeing, you are not the only one who wants what is good. The entire continent of Africa have chosen His Excellency because of what is happening in Ghana. They want him to be a model president on the continent. And he is the African first vice chairman of the African Union. And then this year he is the African second vice chairman of the African Union. And next year they say that he is on the post to be the chairman of the African Union, 64 countries. But to conclude, on Monday, the United States of America has thrown invitation to His Excellency that they want him to be the only president outside the United States of America to come and be the special guest for the Chieftaincy International Conference in the United States of America. What a leader! What a leader! What a leader! So Togbe Teprehudu, man, admirable Royal Majesty, who saved NIB when you saw Heritage Bank going, Sovereign Bank going, Global Knowledge Bank going, First Capital Bank. When you saw the bank going, you stood your grounds. We are proud of you. May I therefore pause here to know. I have a lot to say because His Excellency has done so much. But my brother, the Felix is here waiting for me to get a podium. Thank you very much.
There's never a dull moment with the Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim. So our revered traditional leaders have waited patiently and listened to what members of President Mahama's government have to say. They have done the accounting, and it is time for us to hear from our traditional leaders as they share their perspectives on what has been said and what else they think needs to be looked at. To speak on their behalf, I have the pleasure of giving the platform to the President of the Volta Regional House of Chiefs, Teprehodo IV.
Thank you very much. And good afternoon to all of us gathered here. Your Excellency, on behalf of the chiefs and people of the Volta region, I warmly welcome you back again to our Oxygen City and also now the Oxygen region of Ghana. Your Excellency, before I say anything else, I must commend you for the vibrant, youthful team that you have chosen to lead this nation. My colleagues and I were keenly watching the presentations, and we can only say there are brighter days ahead for this country. Your Excellency, the truth of the matter is that if we give power to younger people and charge them to deliver for this nation, they will do it. I think the time has come for some of us to take the backstage. Let the younger people do the work for this nation. After all, that is why we have trained them. You have produced men and women of mettle who are contributing on a daily basis to the progress of this nation, and I want to congratulate you on that. From our own region, flanked by the two assiduous ministers that have been continuously making a difference since you took over power in this region. Our indefatigable and affable regional minister, Mr. James Gunu, who has taken time every time that we are going to have meetings of the Volta Regional House of Chiefs to attend. He has helped us in training our chiefs in alternative dispute resolution and a lot more. You have someone you can trust and depend on for the governance of the Volta region. Because on your right, or your immediate right, is our workman. Let me speak a bit of Ebe. Our MP for Adaklu. I'm sure you heard that. That's a good sign. Thank you very much for all that you are doing for this region and for Ghana. To my young brothers, it's good to see you. Keep up the vim. Keep up the work. Let integrity be your guide. Together, this country will go places. Mr. President, I only have an appeal to make to some of your appointees, and that is they should emulate the examples of the array of young men and women who are here. When chiefs call on them, they should respect the calls, because sometimes you don't even know the reason why they are calling you. We have had occasions where we called some of them and the response has been very, very poor. I just hope that seeing this active group of people who are helping transform this nation, they will also join the bandwagon. Now, Mr. President, I know you are going to give us an overall view of what it is that has been happening, but considering the impressive rollout of the work that has gone on so far in this country, we are hopeful that our region will soon tower to be the #1 region in this whole country. And I say this because of the kind of resources that we have in the region, some of which are waiting to be explored or exploited. We have resources, and I would urge your team to work closely with the traditional authorities so that together we can explore all the potentials for turning the fortunes of not only the Volta region but Ghana as a whole around. I would like to make a request, and this is based on the Oliver Twist fashion. We still are battling with the infrastructure of our premier university, the University of Health and Allied Sciences. I know Your Excellency has that institution at heart, and that you will do everything to see it soar and go higher and higher in the academic arena in this country. Some of us were foundation members of the council which set up UHAS. I see Professor Binka here. Your Excellency, we need to have a university that is not only locally recognized but internationally recognized. And I am positive that under your watch that is going to happen. Then one of my colleagues has whispered something also to me, and this goes to the Minister for Health. Yes, we are talking of the new institutions of infrastructure that is going to come our way. I am to make a special appeal to you about the Hohwe Hospital. Hohwe Hospital happens to serve the northern part of the Volta region and even way into Oti region. It's therefore very strategic, and therefore my appeal to you through my colleagues is that help change the fortunes of that institution. To my chiefs, we can always assure you of our backing. I have always said that we will support the government to achieve everything possible for the good and development of this nation, Ghana. We are therefore solidly behind you in all that you seek to do, and please do not hesitate to call on us at any time for advice, discussions, criticisms, the constructive ones, of course, not the destructive ones, so that together we can rally around the flag of Ghana and make this country a great one. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Togbe Teprehodo the Fourth, for those remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome to the stage His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana.
Thank you. Kindly resume your seats. Let me proceed on established protocol and acknowledge our traditional leaders led by the President of the House of Chiefs, Togbe Teprehodo, and to also welcome our young children, the students here, our security services, and senior government officials and residents of the Volta region. Today, the Resetting Ghana tour comes to the Volta region. And when I was seeking the mandate of the people of Ghana to return to office for another mandate to govern, one of the things I promised them was accountable governance. And accountable governance means that from time to time you must come back and report to the people what you're doing for them and give them the opportunity to interact with you. And so that's why we began this Resetting Ghana tour. It has taken us to several regions already, and today is the turn of the Volta region. I brought my ministers to account for the various sectors that they have been handling. And I want to thank them for the very vibrant and spirited accounts that they gave. Many of them I have worked with in my political life. Many of them were my young deputy ministers when I was president, so it was not difficult at all for me to upgrade them when I became president. Others served in Parliament on the leadership of our bench and garnered a lot of experience as chairs of committees governing the various sectors in Parliament. And so it's obvious that they've all come to the job with a lot of knowledge and experience of the various sectors that they lead. And I'm proud that we've given the opportunity to the next generation, because we were giving the same opportunity. I came into Parliament and then as a deputy minister when I was barely 37 years of age, turning 38. And I was given the chance to participate in governance. 2 years later, I became the Minister of Communications just when I turned 40 years. And so, like Togbi Tekrehodo said, I think that the youth are capable. The way that we were entrusted with a mandate to govern at that early age is the same way the current generation should be entrusted, to be able to govern and run this country. I'm proud to say that I think we have I promise we would have the youngest cabinet in history. And arguably, this is the most youthful cabinet since independence. Indeed, the oldest minister is just 53 years of age. And so you can imagine that we're doing well. So I just touch on a few of the things. They've covered most, and so I'll just weave it all together. And to say that in 2024, I came to the World Bank for a loan. And that loan was in the form of votes. And you didn't hesitate. You credited my account. With 90.2% of votes. And so today, when I've come here, I'm not coming for another loan. I'm coming to tell you the deposit I've made in your bank. And from what all the ministers said, you can see that the deposit we put into the World Bank is quite significant. And so I'll just touch on a few of the things. Yesterday we were in Dramani, and everybody knows historically Dramani as an industrial city. When I was a young boy growing up, my father had a rice mill in the northern part of Ghana called Mesido Rice Mill. It processed finished rice for the Ghanaian market and even started exporting. In those days, Ghana didn't import any rice from anywhere. We were self-sufficient. And just next to my father's factory was the Ghana Cotton Company, which was a cotton ginnery. And at that time, there was a lot of cotton growing in the northern part of Ghana. And they used to gin the cotton and load it onto trucks. And the trucks headed down south. I didn't know exactly where the trucks were going. It was in later years that I realized that that cotton used to come to Dramani, and it used to go to Volta Textiles. And they used to spin the cotton, produce the thread, and weave the thread into what we call grey baft. And the grey baft was supplied to GTP and all the other textiles companies so that they print the wax prints that our mothers and sisters love to wear. So it was an integrated cotton industry. Unfortunately, Dramani Textiles closed down. And it closed down because of unpaid electricity bill. One day, ECG got angry and went and switched the factory off. And so the factory didn't have any power to produce. And then their suppliers started hounding them, and their banks started, closing down on them. And eventually, even when ECG restored the power, the factory was never able to stand on its feet again. Since then, it has been an untold story of abandonment. Several governments have tried to revive it without success. This time, we have started a process of revival. And I'm very confident that the way we are approaching it, this next revival of the Dramani Textiles factory will be sustainable, and it will make it an industrial jewel in the Volta region. We have finished the process of a transactions advisor. Indeed, we've even gone beyond the transactions advisor. The transactions advisor has selected the strategic investor who's coming to join with us to revive the factory. And so we're going through his proposal and the feasibility, They are going to retool the factory, bring new, more efficient machines. And we're also, like I said yesterday, going to source the cotton, because the cotton industry in the north collapsed. And so we're going to source the cotton from next door in Benin and from Burkina Faso, and we're going to bring Japan textiles back to its old glory. Then we also have what we call the Volta Economic Corridor. It's a component of the 24-hour economy. And it covers 3 regions. It covers part of Greater Accra, part of Volta Region, and part of Eastern Region. All that corridor has been identified as not only an industrial enclave, but for the setting up of agro-industrial parks and for large-scale irrigation farming. And so that whole area, including water transport, luckily in my first presidency, we signed with the Indian Exim, and they put in the rail line from Tema to Akosombo. The port in Mpakadang is going to be built, and there's a private investor also building a second port at Asikuma, and those will be the key ports, and they'll connect Pando, Toko, and all the other communities along the lake, all the way to Bupe in the north. And so that whole corridor will be reached by train and by barge, so that any products that they produce, containers, industrial equipment and whatever, will be brought down the lake and put on the train straight to Tema, either for export or for domestic consumption. We also recently sent a delegation to Japan. And I was in Japan last year. Several years ago when I was president, I went to Japan, and together with Prime Minister Abe, may God bless his soul, the late Prime Minister Abe, we signed an MOU for the construction of the iconic Volivo Bridge. The Volivo Bridge is a very important aspect of the Eastern Corridor. And we signed the MOU. Unfortunately, we left office and the project delayed for a very long time. And so over the next 8 years, nothing happened with the project. A contractor had been chosen, but because of the long delay, he decided to pull out. He said he was no longer interested in the project. And the Japan government was almost getting at the point of losing hope whether the project will continue. But last year when I went, I met the Prime Minister of Japan, and I told him this is a very important project, dear to the hearts of my people in the Volta region, and indeed for the entire Eastern Corridor. And so they said they will look to see how they can, because of the time delay, the cost of the project had gone up, and it was more than the loan that he had assigned to it. And so I appealed to them to give a top-up to be able to cover the increased cost of the bridge. And I'm happy to announce that they accepted to top it up. And we have done all the preliminary works and are just at the point of appointing and selecting a new contractor to come on site. And I'm sure that before the end of this year, we'll invite Togwiwo Mamau and we'll go to Volivo and cut the site for the new Volivo bridge. Recently, the minister paid a visit to Japan, and happily he took some of our traditional leaders along to accompany him, so they are aware of the progress that we have made. With regards to the Keita port, the minister has given us the brief. The feasibility study and design have been endorsed. It was brought to cabinet. The environmental impact assessment has been approved, and the EPA has given all the approvals for the project to go along. The administration block is almost finished. It's only a certain government that builds administration blocks before they build a port. It was the same with Buankra. They built the administration block, completed it, finished it, and there was no port. Until now, there's no port. But we are confident that this time we are on track to deliver the Keita port. We are praising the proposals of strategic investors. Several people, more than 20 investors have come who have expressed interest in joining us to do the Keita port. And one of the recommendations is that we're going to extend the rail line, the Temakosombo line. We're going to extend it to Dawa. There's a new industrial area when you're coming to Volta Region. There's the Dawa industrial area on your left. The rail line is going to be extended there. And our intention is to extend it from Dawa to Keita so that any containers that are offloaded in Keita can be put on the train and go straight towards Tema and Accra. With UHAS, we were in UHAS yesterday, and the Vice Chancellor and the Chancellor, indeed the Council was holding a meeting yesterday, so they got the opportunity to commend us for the work we have done in UHAS. We went and inspected their new laboratory block that is coming up. And I'm pleased to say that we cut the sword for that laboratory block when I was president. And again, it had stalled over the period that we left office until we came back to office and we got the contractor to go back on site. And I'm happy to say that it's more than 70% complete. And when it's completed, UHAS would have the biggest laboratory complex in the whole of West Africa. And it's going to raise UHAS standard, because when they look at universities and they rank them, they look at your laboratories for research and learning. It's going to have a simulation center, so the students are going to be able to simulate, doing operation surgeries on people. They are going to be able to, the nurses are going to be able to simulate how to look after a patient and all that. It's going to have a first-class simulation center. And then it's going to have a huge pathology lab with a mortuary. And so after they have done the simulation, they'll now go to the real lab. And there will be physical dead bodies, to do their pathology practicals on. But most interestingly, they are in contact with the National Vaccine Institute. And one of the laboratories is going to be a laboratory for pathogen research. The only laboratory we have for pathogen research in this country is the Noguchi Memorial Institute. And that means that they're going to be able to research on pathogens, and they're going to work with the National Vaccine Institute to be able to produce vaccinations right here in Ho. The council also briefed us on their other needs, and we took note of them. We need additional lecture rooms. We need additional hostels in UHAS, but UHAS has come a long way, from the time when we began it with Professor Binka and others as the pioneer Vice Chancellor. It has grown from strength to strength, and I can assure you that UHAS continues to be our baby, because it was the vision of Professor John Atta Mills, and we shall always make sure that UHAS gets its fair share of the national cake. With regard to the whole teaching hospital, again, I went to Korea last year, and I had a meeting tete-a-tete with the Prime Minister, and I met the other senior government officials. We had arranged an EXIM facility of about $200 million to upgrade the facilities in the whole teaching hospital. Unfortunately, because of the debt restructuring, it was affected by the debt restructuring. And so during my visit again to Korea, we are restarting the EXIM negotiations so that we can get the $200 million to upgrade the whole teaching hospital. It will give it another 500 beds. It will expand it by 500 beds. Indeed, when the local government minister was speaking, he said that for 1.5 years, we haven't contracted a single loan from the international market. We haven't taken a single loan. Only last week, Cabinet approved the first 2 loan agreements that we are bringing to Parliament. For the first time in this government, the first 2 loan agreements. And one is a $500 million World Bank agreement for feeder roads. And I want to announce that Volta Region, you have your fair share of that $500 million. Then the second loan is a $300 million, also a World Bank facility, to end the double track. We want by 2027, no child in secondary school in Ghana should be on double track. And so we're building 16 new secondary schools, and then we're expanding the facilities in all the existing secondary schools so that all the children can go to school at the same time and vacate at the same time. And we also, I think the transport minister spoke about the whole airport. We built it hoping that we could kickstart commercial air travel. But we realized that the distance between Ho and Accra is so short that people were not really taking advantage of it. So it has been underutilized for some time. But airports are built for different purposes. Aside from that, we are sure that commercial travel will pick up again, because Accra should not be the only origin destination for air travel. I mean, people want to come from Tamale to Ho, and they have to drive how many hours? 13 hours to get to Ho. And so we must look at the connectivity. For instance, combine Tamale, Kumasi, Ho. You can bring Kumasi passengers, drop them, continue to Ho, and drop the passengers there. Or you can go from Ho to Kumasi, take some passengers to Tamale or to Wa. So we're still exploring the commercial bit. But while doing that, there are other things that we are intending to do, including what the minister mentioned, a pilot training school here. The land has been allocated by the Ghana Airport Company Limited for the pilot training school. It will train pilots here in Ho. It will also train aeronautical engineers, those who are engineers who service the planes. It will train them right here in Ho. There will also be a valeting service for those who have private jets, like my younger brother. He can fly his jet here. They will be able to clean and wash the plane nicely, and then if he wants to park it here, he can park it here. Some can come from Nigeria for cleaning and valeting. And we're also looking at a repair facility, and so minor repairs on aircrafts can be done at the Ho airport. Next to the Ho airport, we also gave land to the Tema Development Corporation. Because it has the name TDC, Tema Development Corporation, people think that it should build only in Tema. But when we came, we gave them the license to expand outside Tema. As the land in Tema is finishing, they must move outside Tema. And so the first location they chose was Ho. And recently I came and cut the sword for the start of what we call the Oxygen City. And it is just next to the airport. And so I've seen some of the videos of the work that is going on there. They've started with the road infrastructure, and actually I've started with some of the houses, you know, in the estate. And so I'm sure that when it's done, it will increase the value of the real estate in that area. And because of the proximity of the airport, it might also attract, you know, people who want to come at the weekend to home. You've been told about their flower market. The feasibility study and design have been done. The commitment authorization has been given by the finance minister, and so they are now going for procurement. And so they'll hold a tender, and then the contractor would be awarded. And the site has been acquired, the documents have been done. The families who own the site have given the land, appropriate land, for the market to be built. So that will start soon. And that's in addition to all the 18 other markets that are being provided for all the districts in the Volta region. He's told you about the whole stadium. We inspected it today, and we're going to start the design for a modern stadium. The land is big enough, and its location is very good. It's in the center of the city. But what I just wanted to add to what the minister said was that we're going to make it a multi-use facility. Normally when you build a stadium and you make it available only for soccer or football, when there's no football, the place is empty and nobody is using it. So this is going to be both a sports stadium, but it will have restaurants, shops, it will have entertainment, sports, and all that, so that it will operate 24/7. So even when we're not playing football, if you want to go and relax and do something, you can go to the stadium and go and relax there. So that's what I wanted to add. But just to wrap up, I'll just talk about other governance issues. That's the constitutional amendment. Cabinet held its final meeting on the constitutional amendments last week, and the Attorney General is going to complete what we call the government position paper. The government position paper will be added to the Constitutional Review Committee report, and very soon I'm going to inaugurate the Constitutional Review Implementation Committee. And so these two documents will be handed over to the Constitutional Review Implementation Committee, and then they will come up with a roadmap for implementing the constitutional review. It has a lot of interesting things in it, and went through it clause by clause by clause. Some of the recommendations of the Constitutional Review Committee we accepted, but there were others too that we didn't think were important, and so we gave our opinion on them. So all that will go to the Constitutional Review Implementation Committee, and then they will start the roadmap for implementing it. We also, I also just want to touch on accountability, and to say that we do not harbor any malice against any person. And indeed, I do not take any enjoyment or pride in prosecuting people if they have done no wrong. And I believe that our prosecutorial system, investigative system, and judicial system grants enough leverage for people to have justice. And so nobody would, out of political vendetta or malice, prosecute anybody if you've done no wrong. And if you've done no wrong and you are being prosecuted maliciously, the courts will be able to uphold your rights and set you free. And so it shouldn't be like we're trying to hound our political opponents or something. We proceed on the basis of evidence we have received. and then the evidence is weighed, and if it is sufficient, there are many times we have reports and all that. Sometimes the evidence comes and it's not substantive, and so you say, if it's on the weight of this evidence, you cannot proceed to court, so discard it, or investigate further and see if there's something else that you have not found. But otherwise, if a case proceeds, and that is why the whole system of accountability is taking time, because you need to be thorough. By the time Yoko or OSP or somebody comes and arrests the person, it means that months of work have taken place reviewing the evidence. And so I just want to assure that accountability is still our #1 priority. But like I keep saying, the sword does not cut only one way. If we find evidence that any of our current appointees or persons working in government under our tenure also has abused the public trust, the way the sword is cutting that way, it will cut this way too. And so I always caution my appointees to be very careful. Be sure you follow the procedure, don't cut corners. And the point is, if you have any doubts, I tell the ministers every day, if you have any doubt, bring it to cabinet. Let's all look at it and take a collective decision on it. If you bring it to cabinet and we take a collective decision based on the wisdom of the president and all the ministers there, tomorrow nobody can come and hold you and say you did this on your own because you wanted to do this or do that. And so we'll continue to pursue accountability, because I believe that if we are accountable, we cut down corruption, and we also reduce the amount of waste of public resources, we would not need to go to the IMF for anything. I mean, look at all the work we've done in 1.5 years without going onto the international capital market for borrowing. Where did that money come from? It is the same cedis, the same domestic revenue that we have used for everything. Agbodza spoke. Last year, we used 13.8 billion for the big push alone. This year, 30.8 billion for the big push alone. And so that's a commitment of more than 40 billion cedis. I mean, where did we find more than 40 billion cedis for reconstructing our roads? It's because we cut waste, we are prioritizing where we are putting the people's money. And that is going to be the hallmark of this government. And so, Togbi Mama, I want to thank you. I just make a little comment. The people of Ghana gave me a mandate for 1 term. And I am working hard to meet the promises I made them. And so I always tell my ministers, I say, let's number our days so that we can work harder to meet the promises we made the Ghanaian people. I note that people have gone to the Supreme Court seeking interpretation of the clause that governs the tenure of the president. If you ask my personal opinion, I thought that it was clear enough. Me, I've read it over several times. It's exactly what it says. But if they want to ask the Supreme Court, that is their business. But I know that the people of Ghana gave me 1 additional term, and I'm going to work to meet the trust that they put in me. Thank you very much.
Come back. No, I don't think so. Okay. Please be seated. Please be seated. And join me to thank the President for his remarks. This was always intended to be an interactive session, and that is how we've done it wherever we've gone to. So at this stage, we'll open the floor for 5 questions. As you may be aware, the itinerary for the President is quite exhaustive, and therefore he needs to move to other places. A lot has been said, but a lot more remains to be said. So we'll open the floor for 5 questions, which can be asked on any of the issues that have been presented today, or any matter that borders on governance. But to begin with, we will give a special dispensation to our traditional rulers. And therefore, I have the honor of inviting Togbe Afede the 14th, the Abobo Mefia of the Asogli State, to either ask a question, make a contribution, or pass a remark on what has happened here so far. After that, 4 more persons will be given the opportunity to ask questions. More comfortable with that. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Your Excellency, Togbe Mamao, are very, very, very hardworking honorable ministers of state, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. First of all, it was very exciting listening to honorable ministers express their gratitude to His Excellency the President. It is said that feeling grateful and not expressing it is like wrapping a gift and failing to deliver it. So I'm grateful that honorable ministers appreciate what the President has done to make them effective in their roles. And secondly, it is very heartening again listening to them talk about the contribution of the President to the various roles that they play. How knowledgeable the President is in all of these sectors. Indeed, our President is a Renaissance man. Who is very much on top of his job and very much aware of what all of his ministers are doing. Your Excellency, we thank you so much for deciding to come to account to us. It is said that a body of men who don't feel accountable to anybody are not to be trusted. Your willingness to account to us has given us more reason to trust you, and indeed we trust you. Listening to all of the things that happen in a short period, as I've said before, it just appears your government has been in office for many years and not 1.5 years. We are indeed very thrilled that all of these huge accomplishments in the road sector, the health sector, education, tourism, and etc. were achieved without you having to borrow any money. Which means you have been both very efficient in raising money and also very prudent in using money. But for me, more importantly, as you said, it's because you've been able to cut waste and you've been able to reduce the incidence of corruption. I think this is where we all have to support you, to help you, to ensure that you bring about absolute honesty, accountability into governance. Because I believe that is where a lot of our problems have been. As chiefs, we are committed to supporting you. And I think I speak on behalf of my people when I say that we will support you to achieve your desires for our region and for the entire country. We want Kwame people to also similarly roll their sleeves and support you. And in fact, when it comes to the fight against corruption, it must not be made partisan. In most countries, people who are accused of corruption, officials, are really very remorseful, and everybody frowns on those kinds of conduct. But we are in a country where sometimes people are up in arms, fighting to defend the corrupt in our society. I think that we must all condemn. And as citizens, we all must stand up and support the government in this fight against corruption. Your Excellency, we heard all of what you have said about supporting the development of our region. We've heard about the comments on the Keta port. Very exciting to hear about the extension of the railway from Tema to Dawa to Keta. But we'd also be happy if you can consider the possibility of a railway line stretching from Keta through Ho all the way up north to Yendi and to Ouagadougou, which was in the previous government plans. They set up a whole ministry of railways to do it, but could not do it. We think that that would also enhance the viability of the Keta port, and would encourage you to consider it. A railway line from Keta port through Ho, that will be linked by one from Tema to Ho, and then continuing all the way along the eastern corridor to Paga and to Ouagadougou. That I think would be extremely useful. Again, on behalf of the people of the region, I want to commend you and your ministers for the yeoman's job you've done over the past only 1.5 years. We look forward to greater things, and we pledge our absolute commitment to your work, to your vision, and to all of what you will and desire for our country. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kwame, the 14th, for those remarks. So the floor is now open for 4 more questions or comments from members of the public. And we are going to implement a policy of strict gender balance. So 2 men and 2 women will be given the opportunity. So I see a lady in front of, please take the microphone and give it to the lady on the left, please. After that, the gentleman in the fugu, and the other gentleman in the cream colored attire. And then I need 1 more lady to complete the loop. All right, there's a lady there, and that is it. Thank you very much. Please keep your answers short in the interest of time. Yeah. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Togo Bamao, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Mine is not a question. Togwe Tapahodo mentioned UHAS, and our president mentioned UHAS. On behalf of the university, I just want to extend a heartfelt appreciation to you and your government. Thank you very much.
So let's go to the gentleman in the fugu behind the cameras.
Thank you, Honorable Felix. Mine is an appeal. Your Excellency, first of all, I thank God for your life.
Please go straight to the point.
Yes. My point here is that the whole central constituency here has been upset in the tape. We have been backing to the NDC government since the inception of the 4th Republic. But there is something that has bedeviled us that we are crying for. That as you are here, I want you to at least, with all the numerous gifts you have been giving to us, we are still lacking human resource in terms of party in government. So I'm appealing, if you can look through to whole central constituency and for the first time give, if it's a deputy or a substantive ministerial position to us as a constituency. It's an appeal. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So the gentleman in the cream colored attire is next. Please identify yourself.
Yeah, I am Awilo Atito Lawrence, GPRT Ho. Mine is an appeal to Honorable Nikpe, the Transport Minister. It is about the issue of fuel increment and fuel reduction as against our transport sector. Anytime there is some increment in fuel, we drivers are quickly to really increase our transportation. But when the fuel is lowered, there is always disparities and problems. So I would like to appeal to Honorable Nikpe that there should be a creation of a policy that will bring harmony among all transport unions, so that when it gets to these times, there will be peace and tranquility among our transport sector. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Eli Kulinklu, the Regional President of Persons with Disability, Ghana Federation of Disability Organization. Mr. President, God bless you. A lot has been done in disability fraternity, but Oliver Twist, we are still asking for more. And mine is about the communication gap at the health facilities. It will surprise you that sometimes our people who have challenge with communication, hearing impaired, they will get to hospital and they will find it very difficult to communicate with the health workers. So I am pleading with you. I know you are a listening one. If you can help us to have that accessibility at the health facilities when it comes to communication, maybe by providing sign language interpreters at least at each and every regional hospital, so that we will be communicating to our people, directing them to regional hospital, at least for them also to have the best health care. Thank you so much, my president.
Thank you very much. We will take the last one from a visually impaired student in the yellow attire.
Okay. Mr. President, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Magdalene Ewenamabenu, a student with visual impairment. I want to recommend these three things. 1. Ensure every publicly funded textbook is provided in accessible formats, including Braille and accessible digital version at the same time as printed copies. 2. Strengthen inclusive assessment by ensuring WAEC provide appropriate accommodation, including Braille, screen readers, accessible computers, easy to read instructions, and other reasonable adjustments. 3. Make practical disability inclusive education compulsory in every college of education with comprehensive training in Braille, Ghanaian Sign Language, accessible digital technologies, and inclusive teaching and assessment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, Your Excellency, you may respond to these matters.
Thank you. Thank you very much for those brilliant pieces of interaction. I'll start with a question that was not asked, but it was a comment made by Togbe Teprehodo when he gave his remarks, and it was about the Hohoe Hospital. The Hohoe Hospital is a municipal hospital. With the upgrade of the whole hospital into a teaching hospital, it now gives us the opportunity to add a regional hospital for the Volta region. And so our intention is to upgrade the Hohoe Hospital into the Volta Regional Hospital, while Ho remains the whole teaching hospital. And so soon you would see the designs and feasibility study for a new Volta Regional Hospital in Hohoe. I want to thank Togbe Apede for the commendation and encouragement that he has given to our government. We appreciate it very much. I mean, knowing the kind of person he is and the very strict marking scheme he uses. I'm happy that we have passed his exam. And he has encouraged us to do even more. We have the Railway Master Plan. And yes, in the Railway Master Plan, there's the Eastern Corridor Rail Line, which Togbi was talking about. And so as we have the resources, we'll continue to extend the rail according to the master plan until we're able to cover Ghana effectively. This would help to take some of the more heavier freight that is carried on our roads onto the railways so that our roads can last longer. Sometimes if you see some of the trucks and how they load, I mean, any kind of road you build, even if it's an airport runway, if those trucks run on it, in 5 years they will destroy it. However, where you build the road, they are not built to stand that kind of weight. And so I think we must extend the railway so that we can get some of these heavy cargoes onto the railway. Whole Central, don't worry, maybe your time will come. Unfortunately, Ghanaians had become too tired of, huge numbers of political appointees in government. And as part of the campaign, we promised to reduce the number of political appointees. So even if you go to the presidency, the number of presidential staff advisors and everything has gone from above 300 to 200 and something. We've kept it lean and mean, and that is how we're able to cut down some of the waste. And we also restricted ourselves to 60 ministers. And so all the regional ministers don't have deputies. Some ministries don't have deputies at all. And so that's how come maybe you feel left out. But there'll be reshuffles and reshuffles and reshuffles. So just stand in readiness. Who knows? Your turn will come. And you'll be invited to serve. With regards to fuel, I'm happy GPRTU raised it. Always when there's a little increase in fuel, they are very fast to increase transport fares. But when the price comes down, they are very reluctant and very slow to reduce it. When the price goes up, they say, oh, fuel is the main investment that we use to be able to provide our services. Then when it comes down, they say, oh, it's not only fuel that we use. We also have tires and batteries and other things. But when I was in government the other time, we agreed with GPRTU on what we call triggers. And so if there was an increase beyond a certain point, it triggers a certain increase. And if there's a decrease beyond a certain point, it triggers a reduction. We had a big reduction in the price of fuel, and so GPRTU agreed that we should reduce the price by 15%, the fares. Many complied, but a lot too refused to apply the 15%. So even though there was a steep reduction, some of them reduced just by 10%, others even less. And so we'll continue to engage the drivers' unions so that we are able to pass on what is fair to the Ghanaian passengers. With regards to persons with disability, indeed, every day we learn something new. And the thing is, unless you are in the shoes of a disabled person, you cannot understand how the system works against them. Something as simple as going to the hospital, which any of us will just get up and go, and they say, what is wrong with you? And then you rattle your symptoms like a machine gun. I mean, they can do that. The nurse standing there who is trying to decipher, what's wrong with the person, unless he goes with somebody who understands sign language to interpret and tell the nurse, they won't have a good quality health experience. And so I agree with Madam. The Minister of Health is here. If at least for the regional and teaching hospitals, we engage one person who can do sign language interpretation, so that if any person who comes need sign language interpretation, that person will be there to assist them. And then my little daughter gave 3 brilliant ideas. And what I want is for the regional minister to get them set out the way she put it properly, in detail, so that we can take a look at it. She talked about availability of Braille and digital learning material, which is important for them. She also spoke about inclusive education in respect of disability. And then she spoke about the West African Exams Council and what they should do to enhance, those with visual impairment. So if I can get it set out properly, we'll pass it on to the Minister of Education so that we can have inclusive education. But we already have approved free tertiary education for persons with disability. And so in all our tertiary institutions, any person with disability does not pay one single pesewa. And we voted the money for it. We've paid all the institutions, for training them. Aside from that, we also have increased the feeding fee for all the schools with special needs. And also, we have taken away the fees for all of them. And so they don't have to pay fees. And so we'll continue to work to make sure that our visually impaired, our hearing impaired, and also physically handicapped are able to survive and thrive in our country. It is said that a country is judged by how it treats its most vulnerable. And so Ghana, whether we're a country that should be respected, depends on how we treat the vulnerable in our society. And so government will continue to pay attention to that. I thank you very much.
We have time for 4 more questions, after which we will bring this program to an end. So 2 men and 2 women. The gentleman on the right here. So I see a Catholic bishop whose hands are up. Anglican bishop, I beg your pardon, whose hands are up. And then 2 women should complete the loop. So there's a lady in a wax print and another one in a red top. So these will be the 4 persons from whom we will take. So His Excellency has granted a dispensation to one of the students whose hands are up. So one of you will have the chance to speak. Let's start with the Anglican bishop, please.
Your Excellency, it is our joy as ministers, religious leaders of this region, to see you flourishing. When you took office, I led the clergy of the region. That's when you first moved into the Jubilee House. You were at the castle, and you told us that we were the first to meet you there. And then we put so many things across. And it is our joy that we've actually answered our calls for road, education, and all that. But there's one thing which breaks my heart. Now, Keta, your attention is very much on the Keta port, which is very good. But then, tourism. We have the fort over there. Now that the Keta port is coming up, what are we going to do about Fort Presentation? Because anytime people visit from outside, we always take them to Cape Coast. Recently, some of my friends from the United Kingdom, they came. When I took them to Fort Presentation, in actual fact, they were moved. And then said, no, this is where we should be bringing people, but not to Cape Coast. There's much to learn at that fort than even in Cape Coast. Will that also be part of our tourism industry? This is my humble plea. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we'll move up and take a contribution or a question from the lady in the wax print, please. Yeah, madam, please speak.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you. My name is Mrs. Pearl Romachi. or Mama Pearl from Ho. I'm one of the matured women among the advocates in Ho. So what I want to say, when I was coming, my people were calling me, try to say something, oh, we want to hear something. That's why I'm forcing to talk.
So let's hear it quickly then.
So, first of all, I want to thank Mr. President and all the ministers, because all the addresses they gave was centered on accountability. I want to praise them for that. And I pray that they will all live long. Amen.
Amen. So now your question or contribution, please.
What I want to ask again, the questions are many, but the only one.
Just one question, yes.
Only one I want to ask is that if all the addresses are based on accountability, and since I am voting for many years now, I have not seen any of the ministers like Oforiata running away. So I want to have an assurance that by all means they will bring him back to come and account.
Thank you very much. So we'll take another question or contribution from the Reverend Minister in front here.
Thank you very much. My name is Apostle Dr. Joseph Janju. My request is in the president's first term, he built new schools called E-blocks. And now we are in the second, he has come for his second term. Now the E-blocks that were built in the first term, whole municipal didn't benefit from it. I want to request that this time, I don't know what name they will give to the new blocks they will be building, but one, at least one for whole Central. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the gentleman in the Fugu up there will have his turn now. Please, Father.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Togbe Komla Sakpiti. I am a gentleman, but I would like you to address me as Togbe. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah.
I'm also the chairman of Volta Youth Development Fund, the board chairman. I'm the board chairman. So with me, I think it will be a very good platform. The beneficiary we wanted to support for the very first time, if I can plead with the president to even issue the checks. We have the checks here, if they can just do the presentation, to encourage other benevolent organizations to also support the fund. If you look at the Volta region, youth unemployment is very, very high. And also appeal to the president to also remember to fulfill his promise for Havu Agricultural University. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kobe. In the interest of time, I have the permission of the president to nominate the Volta Regional Minister to make the presentation after this program so that we can attend to other equally important schedules. Thank you very much. Yeah. So the lady in the red top. Yes.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, I want to make an appeal. Forgive me for my voice. An appeal and a request. Water is essential, and then good, clean, and safer water is what we are all looking for. But then recently in Ho and its environs, we realized that there is the Ho water treatment. There is a private developer who has come to encroach on Abafa. He has built a hotel, let me just put it that way. And I think that thing will worry us. Recently, about 2 months ago, the Ghana Water Works who here told us that because of that, the turbulence level was very high. And then they shut it down, that they were not able to give us good and clean water. Mr. President, we cannot be drinking contaminated water because looking at other places where Galamsey is ongoing,
their water is very bad. Are we also going to sit down for these things to destroy our clean and then what do you call good waters? Please intervene for this private developer. It's BSK or something like that. BSK
Thank you.
Developer.
Thank you very much. So we'll take a student from up there.
Thank you, Mr. President, for this opportunity to express my view as a concerned student. The GES of Ghana is supposed to provide us with tablets as first years and the incoming first years so that we'll be able to access our learning materials. Is this initiative going to continue, because it was initiated by the previous government, and the charging points that we are supposed to use to charge our tablets are also not available for the Form 3s to use to charge their tablets? Please, what are you going to do about this?
Thank you very much. We'll pick a final one from the Vice Chancellor of the whole Technical University, whose premises we are using currently. So please be seated. Please be seated. The microphone will come to you. Please be seated. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We are happy to have you among us this afternoon. My colleagues were shouting, asked a lot of things, but I know we had some friendly chat when you were going round. And I would like to state that Who Technical University is making a lot of progress. We are the reference point of all the technical universities in Ghana. Everybody knows this. We have innovations here which would develop our nation. Right here in this university, our scientists have made baobab seedling a tree crop. We are working with the Ghana Tree Crop Authority currently in the 24-hour economy. Baobab, that fruit in averagely 20 years plus, our scientists have reduced it and it's fruiting in 27 months. It's not a story. The farm is there. We are currently doing an experimental farm even in Upper West to demonstrate that it works. We have other farms, and the value chain of baobab, the export part of it, we are developing to be the next cocoa for this region. So we want to appeal that you come to our support and push this agenda for us. Again, our students, you saw it this morning.
This will be the final point. Yes, go ahead. Please.
Okay, my brother, I'll make it snappy. You know, lecturers, when you give us mic, our students are doing a lot of skillful things. We need hostel facility. The Minister of Education mentioned it during the inauguration of the council, and we think that if you add 1,000-bed hostel facility to the university, sometimes when they see these beautiful buildings, we are forgotten. Sometimes I'm jealous a little bit. My colleague, VC is there. Everywhere we hear only UHAS, but we want attention, hostel facilities, and some additional laboratories. But all our buses are broken down. So if you are giving me one bus before you leave, I'll be happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. Your Excellency, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Bishop, for reminding us about tourism. I'm sure the Honorable Dzifa touched on a lot of issues. She couldn't touch on everything, but we thank you for reminding us of Fort Prison's thing. You've educated me, because the information I had was that the fort had been washed away by the tidal waves, but I hear there's about 1/4 of it still surviving. And so, Dzifa, you and your Ghana monuments and museums, please go and take a look at it, and then let's see how we can preserve it. At least it's part of our historical heritage. And then there are laws governing extradition or return of fugitives from justice. It's a legal process, and so you need to respect the rights of the person at the same time. And so if the person has absconded from a jurisdiction and gone into a new jurisdiction, if you want to bring him back, First, you must have an extradition treaty with that country. And then secondly, you must trigger a request, an application for extradition. And the person has the right to take a lawyer, go before a judge, and if he doesn't want to come, he will argue against coming. And your point two must be made that he's needed because he's done this and this and that. And so to go before a judge, unfortunately, it won't be a Ghanaian judge, it will be an American judge, and he will decide, whether the gentleman you mentioned should be put on a plane and brought back. But the Attorney General's Department has done its best. It filed the application. There are some additional documents that were asked for that it is filing, and eventually it will all go before an American judge to make a decision. But I do believe that even by virtue of holding a position like that for many years, I mean almost till the end of the regime, you held the most sensitive position as finance minister. And at a point when your own members of parliament, 80 of them, signed an application that the president should remove you, you said something historic. You said you are like the father of children and that you can't run away and leave your children. And so if we Ghanaians are your children, we're calling you, we're begging you, Father, come back. Your children are calling you to come back, but just the act of fleeing, I mean, if you're a man of principle and you believe you've done nothing wrong, I don't see why you should flee your own country. And so we'll see what the legal regime is and how it proceeds. But whatever it is, if he's brought back, he will have justice. We believe in the judicial system of our country. You have the best of lawyers to defend him. But if he doesn't come back to, then it means that he leaves a cloud of doubt over his head forever, and his children and his grandchildren. And so we'll see how things play out. With the e-blocks, we are creating, under the loan I told you to stop the double track, we have funding for e-blocks in high population density areas. And I'm sure that whole Central might be part of it. Where we have a high population density areas, we want to reduce the number of children living there and going to schools in other places. And because it's high population density, they're able to commute to school every day. They don't need to be in hostels and all that kind of thing. And so we've identified, I haven't looked comprehensively at the list, but I saw Kaswa was there, I saw Nima was there. I should think that whole Central will be part of it, but I'll check and I'll give you a feedback. And if it's not there, I will work some magic to see how I can how I can include it. We also are in the process of the upgrade. We promised we were going to upgrade Ohio College into an agricultural university. I want to assure you the process is ongoing, and we will create that agricultural university so that it benefits not only the people of Volta Region, but the whole of the country. With regards to whole water, I don't know the particular one you're talking about, but I'm sure that the EPA and Ghana Water Company will have to look at the complaint you're making and see whether it's a threat to the water supply. And if it is, then they have to take some action. We also are looking to increase the supply of water to Ho by linking up. We started the Auditorium water treatment that was supposed to bring water from the southern Volta and bring it up to Adaklu and then continue the line to Ho. It was abandoned after we left office. So we're reviving that project so that we can bring more water from the southern Volta in addition to your existing water supply, so that we can provide more fresh water for Ho, because Ho is a fast developing metropolis, and as the years pass, it will need more water because of the increase in the population. With regards to tablets, the project will continue. We're not going to stop supplying tablets to schools. And so the GET fund is the one that is responsible for that. If they haven't started yet, we'll trigger it so that they can start to provide the tablets. What they have said is they want to supply tablets that load all the core textbooks that the student need on the tablet, so that you don't have to physically go and buy the physical textbook to read. You will have that textbook on your tablet, and so you can refer to it whenever you have to. Whole Technical University, congratulations. Before I came in here, I passed the exhibition of your fashion department, and I mean, they are just amazing. I mean, if my wife Lodina were here, I would have asked her to select some dresses and let me pay for them. No, because the designs were, you know, quite exquisite, and they did a lot of things. They gave me a sculpture of myself, and it looked just like me, you know, and so I appreciate that. But I hear that is something they do department by department. They hold exhibitions, and I think that's a very good way of encouraging your students to be more practical. With the breakthrough in Baobab, I haven't heard about it. I'm happy to hear about it, because if we can get Baobabs to start producing in less than 3 years, that really is a breakthrough. It is called the tree of wisdom, because it used to take almost 30 years before it starts bearing fruits. And normally it was planted in the center of the village. So anywhere you see a village, you see a baobab tree in the center. But while I was growing up, a friend of my father had a baobab plantation. And when you were going into Tamale, before you get to the barrier, Ditoili on the left, he had a huge baobab plantation. And so I believe that anybody who planted baobab at that time was a person who was very confident in life, because to plant a tree that will fruit in 30 years, you must have a lot of patience. But now that you've brought the less than 3-year one, maybe all of us will begin to plant baobab if you give us the appropriate seeds. I've taken note of hostel. We are actually trying to do hostels for all the universities. All the universities have a problem with hostels. The student population has increased phenomenally, and a lot of the students have to live outside campus. And they face a lot of inconvenience when they have to come to campus, and others. There are incidents where students have been robbed on their way to school or coming back from school. There are incidences where students have had accidents, you know, either on their way to school or from school. And so we're going to try to continue to expand hostel accommodation, but we cannot do it as government alone. And that's why we said that government was going to work with the universities to identify appropriate lands, and we shall bring the private sector who want to invest in hostels to build those hostels on the property. We will discuss the rental so that they are not overcharging the students, but then they will make the accommodation available. So that project is ongoing, and soon we are going to come to you. You have to identify a piece of land where we can help you together with the private sector to build those hostels. And then with the bus, I can promise you one. And so by next week, you'll receive a brand new bus from me.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for those responses. At this stage, we will take a closing prayer from Alhaji Muniru Ali Muhammad, after which we will bring the program to an end. After the prayer. So after the prayer, we will take the national anthem, and then His Excellency will have a photo opportunity with Togbewu and Mamau. Thank you very much.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم الرحيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Ya Allah, we thank you for bringing us to the end of a successful and productive encounter. Ya Allah, as we depart here to our various places, we ask for your travel mercies. Ya Allah, we ask you to continue to bless our country Ghana. Continue to make it great and strong. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
So we will take the national anthem at this stage. Thank you all for coming. His Excellency will now take photographs